Here's what I like. The fact that you can address a topic many times in live video. We can come back at things, come around, take another stab. I can make apologies for things I say that I don't, if I say something naughty or bad. And I can make not apologies for things I say that are controversial. Unavoidable controversy. First controversy I'd like to address in our time together in this beautiful Saturday afternoon feed. Still drinking coffee out of teacups today. This is my second workshop teacup, so I've got the cup collection going. You know how it goes. Do you know how it goes? I just put the coffee cups at the end of the other bench over there during the week, and then I bring them all up. Judy loves it. She loves me. Anyway, first controversy we're going to address. What's up with that drill? That was a great question that was asked. Why is there a drill stuck in a bucket of glue? The 5-gallon bucket of glue over there. Well, as most of you know, I've been on a 1 year and 6 month hiatus. And part of the work of being on hiatus is the diligent accomplishment of very little work. That means the use of very little glue. And those of you who work with glue may or may not have experienced, depending on the rate of your work, that glue, when it sits for a long time, it likes to clump up. Scott Laughlin, thanks for this awesome thermos. Saw you on here, buddy. So I keep a drill. Now that glue there is an experimental batch, because not only did it clump, but I got my buckets mixed up, and I actually left that bucket, that 5-gallon bucket of precious glue, I left it out in the elements during a winter. It's like there's like a few rules with glue, and one of them is don't freeze it. Well, it doesn't freeze. What it does is it cross-links and it turns to a giant slug of Jell-O. And that's not good. Mike Vieser, good to see you, bud. So leaving a 5-gallon of precious glue out for the whole winter, freezing, all that. It was not a warm winter that winter. It's already old. The word on the street with glue is that once it hardens like that, you're done. It can never be used again. It will never work. So I stuck a drill in it with a beater on the end there. And I ran it for 5-10 minutes, just sat down and enjoyed some time, just whipping the glue, and it got nice and thin, and it returned to its original consistency, ROC, returned to original condition, in appearance and in viscosity. However, it is possible that the bonding properties of the glue have been significantly changed. Possible. I suspect that the bonding properties of the glue will, for whatever changes may have gone on, will be still far superior to lower end glues. That's a high end glue. It's old. So I'm going to experiment with it on some personals, and I predict, my hypothesis is that glue will perform extremely well having been frozen. It wasn't frozen, but having gone through freezing temperatures, having congealed. It may have lost some of its ability to cross-link, but my mortuary, the mortuary is not a catacombs, Scott. The mortuary is a prep room for the catacombs. And we have no dead people presently in the house. although there have been many. So I like that though. The catacombs. But so that's the first controversy we'll put to bed. Eric Sanders, my good friend, who is on here right now, asked this morning, why you gotta, he said it very intelligently, but he said, talk about the drill in the glue bucket. And he knew exactly what that was, a glue bucket. So, yeah, that's just a beater on the end of a drill for experimenting with over-the-hill glue. I have made boards with, I've got one right here. I'll bring it over, I'll talk about it. I've had this board on camera a number of times. This was made with the worst plies that I had on hand at the time. Splits, cracks, and cracks. You can see a big split. It was a spread split. It was actually didn't meet up again. A split that goes all the way back to there. I mean, this wood was wreckage. And knot holes. Every internal ply that is lengthwise, so that's 3 internal plies, had severe knot holes in it. And it's a bad board. And this one went through 3 users, and the last kid that owned it, he skated it for a year, and as you can see by this edge, he had it out in the rain or whatnot, and that's where we got some of the crazy, it really started to delam and top crack once that moisture barrier, and this was pressed not with high quality glue, this was pressed with Elmer's wood glue. Elmer's wood glue made this board, and this one was Titebond 1. Titebond 1 on this board, and it is more flexible than my other layups. Yes, definitely more flexible than other glues. There is a difference, but the degree of durability and longevity in that make were remarkable. Really, really remarkable. I mean, remarkable to the point where you're like, geez, you know, sorry friends, hate dropping you. That's just a part of the whole workshop experience. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. So that was the first question. The second question we had today, I try to cover something I read on Facebook. I love Facebook. I know that social media is it's a bit of a cluster, but I'm gonna hang this up over here. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Please won't you be my neighbor? Anytime I hang up a shirt on camera, I should do that. Today's question really hit me. There was a post in a group. You may or may not be part of the group, but it was a pretty typical question. Was okay, you know what? I'm going to read parts of it to you, but I'm not going to read who it's from. Because I don't think people want their opinions blasted out by their name. If you recognize this, do me a favor and don't out people, even if they might be proud personally of their opinions on this. But I think it's poor form to always. Now, if I'm talking about an idea and you recognize that he's talking about so-and-so who said this, or if you are the person who said something, or if I read something that was written on social media and you recognize that it's yours and you're mad that I'm putting it out there, let me give you a hint, a tip. And this, I never thought I'd have to say this, but I really do. I mean, until like 8 years ago. Don't argue with me and admit that you wrote the thing that you are embarrassed that I read out loud without mentioning your name. Second thing, maybe someone else wrote something similar and you think it's yours. This happens, so relax. But I was on the internet, looking at, I love Facebook for this, because ideas are important. Ideas run our structure, man. They run your structure. So you know, I say don't shut up and skate. I say skate and relate, right? And that's from Public Domain. So, a really cool guy writes today. He doesn't like it when people use the phrase actually skate. For example, when someone sees a collection of skateboarders and says something like, of skateboards, and says, I'd actually skate those. Obviously, this is from a collector group. And I'm not going to read the whole rest of it, but it's sort of like, you know, we know we're collecting skateboards. We love collecting skateboards. And yes, like we skate, but sometimes people will come and they'll insinuate that these collectors are somehow deficient because they aren't skating all the boards they own. I'm neutral on that. I'm kind of pro-collector because collecting is fun, and making fun of people for something they're having fun doing, to me, not fun. But it kicked off a really cool comment thread. And and there's a someone wrote, what about the difference between a skateboarder? They wrote this to me. What about the difference between a skateboarder and the weekend enthusiast? You know, the guy fully padded with the 80s setup, barely carving on the wall, awkward looking when he pushes. And he says, that guy is comparable to the nowadays lawyers who are the only ones riding Harleys, weekenders. And we knocked that around within this group today. But I thought that what we're getting at is, so who gets to call themselves a skateboarder is the classic, we'll be back on this one again and again and again. Who gets to call themselves a skateboarder? And or who gets called a skateboarder? Who gets to be a skateboarder? How does that whole thing work out? You know what I mean? And well, I think that the answer to that is probably a little bit nuanced because it's just deeply personal to some people, and other people don't really care. Xavier Cassell, I'm sad that we don't get to do YouTube Live because that's where you really can see where my stuff is. Xavier, he reports, I feel this. I have both bad ankles, torn tendons on both feet. Keith King says, anyone who rolls on four wheels. I'm going to give you my take. It's what I'm expert at. I'm expert at what's going on in here. It doesn't mean this is reliable, but it means that I have it. I have an idea about who's a skateboarder that's sort of like this. Take a piece of skateboarding veneer. This is a proof print from the second year I was making skateboards. We'll take this piece of veneer and a marker. We're going to have a chat. All right, so we've got this giant bunch of people all out in the world, and they all think that skateboarding is something special, right? Here we go. So here's skateboarding, right? And it's backward for you. So, you know, you could draw a circle around it, right? You take and draw a circle around it, and go, all right. So if you're that close to being a great skateboarder, you know, and then here you've got your flip tricks and all of your crazy tech stuff and high commitment and like that, and then out here you've got your next level out, which would, I guess it would be transition riding, and out here you're gonna have your 1980s vert ripper guys who just skate vert, and then no circle around longboarding, because longboarding of course doesn't belong within a circle around skateboarding. That's one idea, but I see it differently. I don't see circles around it. I see here's skateboarding, and there are people who are way out here, distanced, far away from skateboarding, right? And there's your Werner Herzogs and all your people way out there. And then you got people who are all up inside the inner part of it. These are, I mean, freaking Jamie Thomas and all the diehards and the guys who invented stuff, right? And then you got people who are all over in this area here, right? And there's a very precious thing I see. I'm just going to take a few of these dots and show you maybe some, so you might be near skateboarding, but you're a parent of a skateboarder, right? And you're not really into it, right? But skateboarding's close to your life, so you're interested in it, right? Well, you're not a practitioner of skateboarding, but I'm going to take it, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to show you. I'll take that dot and this dot. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm drawing arrows. So sets that have a circle around them are called closed sets. And then there are sets like this. Now I did notice we had Jason Wren with us earlier, and he's a math guy, so he'll check me on this because I am not a math guy, God bless. But I think that skateboarding is a great place for anyone who's pointed at it. If skateboarding, I think that as what I consider my people in skateboarding, to give you an example, Colin Weir down in Bradenton, Florida area, ripper, straight ripper. Oh, hi Floyd. Floyd introduced me. Floyd Howard Pruitt is on here, and he introduced me to Colin Weir. Straight ripper, as well as Colin's friend Smiley. These boys skate better than I ever will and ever have, as far as I can see. And those guys they're in my set of who is a skateboarder. But another skateboarder is in my set, and it's Floyd Howard Pruitt himself. Floyd is the owner of House of Pawn, a skate shop and pawn shop, and it's the best. It's been a good week for Floyd over here because I've been going back through my good memories, and a lot of them are stacked with Floyd. And Floyd gets up at like dawn every morning, basically, virtually every single morning, and he does a live video for his friends from the Bradenton Riverwalk Skate Park. Now, here's the thing about Floyd. Floyd is not a high talent crazy ripper. He skates every day, but he's not a high talent ripper. Okay? So, my friend Floyd is commendable in his devotion to riding a skateboard, his appreciation of skateboarding, and his orientation around supporting skateboarders. Guy's a skateboarder. He's a great one. And honestly, I think that Colin and Smiley would both easily concede that Floyd is in many ways greater than they are in skateboarding because of the service he gives to skateboarders. Now I'm going to bring up another friend. I don't think I need to. I think you guys are understanding what I'm saying. In my mind and in my opinion, a skateboarder is not defined and delineated about I wanted to bring up a third skateboarder because we need to make a distinction. I'm not going to name this skateboarder. I'm going to describe a profile. I don't have someone in mind, but I'm going to describe a profile that is close to my heart. Here's a person who loves skateboarding, loves riding them, but is a trucker, and has all the hard miles and back injury, repetitive stress from sitting, then lifting, then sitting, then lifting, then sitting, then lifting. Or Xavier's on here, Xavier Cassell. He's got bad ankles. He says, I'm trash at it. Always been bad, but I smile like a villain while I do it. All right? Let's get this one really quick. The person who skates maybe twice a year because health, because life, because job, because family, sick kid, and you look and you see a person and they show up classic. They got their black hoodie, they got their cut off army pant cargo shorts on, they got their unscratched DC shoes on. I think those are great skateboarders also. And if they show up at the park and they're padded up, and maybe they're there with their grandkid, or they're there with their son or their daughter, maybe their daughter is riding a pink scooter. These are my people too, because these are people who love skateboarding. And if their daughter is in my way or their son is in my way or something, teach them a trick or show them how to roll or just say hi to them and learn their name because you might see them again. And if you're a skateboarder that takes riding the skateboard so seriously that you have bad feelings about different kinds of people who are coming in and coming around skateboarding, if you're a skateboarder who really hates longboards, maybe, show me what harm they cause. I can't find it. Xavier chips in, literally, Army, 2 kids, destroyed, big board punk rock guy. Kid, yes, he is. And I want to tell you all something else too. I'm a low talent soldier in skateboarding. I'm not without a certain enjoyment of riding my skateboard that I love to share, but it sure isn't pride in my skill. I like being good at it, but I'm not getting to have that forever. I'm gonna be 50 in 2 years, 2.5 years, and I didn't achieve a huge amount of skill. There is no way in the world that I'm going to acquiesce to someone stating that I am somehow less legitimate in our community because I didn't achieve some standard of trick accomplishment. You kidding me? I make these. I've gotten under and lifted I've had the honor to get under and lift a number of you. And hopefully I'll be able to do more of that, sometimes indirectly through Life Skateboards, and sometimes directly for my local friends or whoever can come by and make a board in the shop with me, because that's how I like it now. I'm working on expanding Life Skateboards, and I'm prototyping for Life Skateboards, and I welcome people to come into my shop and do work on their own board with me. Don't know where it's going. Also, I'm doing the media thing, but I'm not very interested in monetizing the media because I don't want ads on my stuff. Keith King writes, it takes me about 2/3 of the time I have to skate just to, I bet he's saying warm up. Yep, just to get warmed up, then a week to recover for the next session. Keith, write down in the comments, and this is why I want my YouTube channel to be over 1,000 so we can have these kept in the YouTube. How old are you and what do you do for a job? This is if someone came to me and said, well, these old guys coming, and I don't have any malice toward the people sharing in these feeds. They're learning from each other and we're learning together. So I'm not mad at you. I don't mean to use that voice. But if you get upset, if a person is upset by the presence of these padded up old guys, I'd like to go ahead and use that motorcycle analogy. Let's talk about it. I ride motorcycles. I think you guys know that. And I like riding motorcycles and I like wrenching on motorcycles. And I didn't grow up a lifelong biker, but I knew from a young age that's when I hit a certain point in life, that's where I'm going to be at. And sure enough, it came up and it bit me on the face about 8 years ago. All right. So Keith King says, 46 years young, been doing industrial maintenance for 20 plus years. That's hard work. And Keith's a hardworking guy. And I'll be darned if somebody looks at a Keith or my friend who was here yesterday, tattoo artist. He's a middle-aged tattoo artist. And he's not hitting the gym every day. He's not going to be out there kick flipping down a 5-stair to warm up. And it rankles me to think that we would be upset by the presence of these kind of people. And here's why. I have noticed that from these lower talent people who are further out from the core of skateboarding, these guys, they make more, they make more skateboarders happen. They make more skateboarders happen. I have seen old men on longboards that are going out to the park and learning to carve and look clumsy, and they're not threatening. And they make people want to start. Now, the same group that wants to say those old guys are not skateboarders is also not excited about girls and kids coming in and I guess crowding up their scene. But on the motorcycles, I got to tell you, when I'm out there riding on a highway, I never mind seeing a big old bagger, $30,000 bagger. I'm riding a $3,000 motorcycle that's cobbled together out of stuff I can put together, you know. That's what the dealership told me it was worth, $3,500, right? Travis Phillips is on here. He's a great example of a great 42 firefighter and own a tree service. I'm junk everywhere. Slammed hard twice 2 weeks ago, and his knee is still killing him. And it goes on. These comments are golden. I wish that they could be on the archival of this, but that's a peripheral issue. But so I think everybody's smelling what I'm stepping in. But I'd like to say I become particularly militant about this when the closed set mentality is being pushed, when they're pushing out these people on the outer ring who are passionately pointed toward the middle. When I see a skate shop or a sponsored skateboarder or a local brand owner speaking out and trashing these people and discouraging them from whatever part they're into. If I see a brand owner who writes, "Man, all these old men at the park need to just go home. If you ever quit, never come back." Okay, that is the opposite of everything that I'm about. If you ever quit, you are always welcome to. And this is why I did the thing on BAM. Was that yesterday I did that? I thought we should take a minute, but I think that is a huge mistake. And it is especially a huge mistake if it's combined with sales pressure. You have it's toxic, super toxic, man. Listen, you may be listening to me, and I'd like you to know, if you are a person who values the core, who values the high dedication, high cost experience in skateboarding, I'm not interested in pissing in your cornflakes. I really like that you are intense. I like that you have a crew. I don't even mind that you don't like when the park is crowded and you wish these people would go home. I don't. I will definitely respond to public behavior that's like, breaking hearts on these good people, but they are not, everybody doesn't need to be defended all the time. A lot of these good people are able to handle their own stuff and don't give a rat's ass what anyone thinks about them anyway. So it's not like some bleeding heart, we're on the edge of cancel culture thing here. But I also can understand it. People feel like skateboarding saved their lives. And to them, it's something sacred. It shouldn't be defiled and watered down. I have a lot of respect for those opinions as well. I think those opinions are precious because they're important to you. I don't think that they're ultimately correct. And I think the more we talk about it, the happier and more fulfilled we might all be. It could be challenging, and there could be times when you feel like you've been, super bummed. Boy, Buddy Boyer's got some good comments in here that I'd love for you all to check out. Buddy has an interesting experience of being in that upper echelon when he was younger and being part of a very aggressive young crew of super rippers and then going out and getting, life, and I'm happy and grateful to know you, Buddy. Hey, this has been a good chat. Are you guys smelling what I'm stepping in? Because I thought this would be a good way to spend the later part of our day together here in the workshop. It's a cold day today with rain moving in. It's just above freezing in Cincinnati. So I didn't get to have a session outdoors. I'm a little older. It takes me a long time to warm up, and I don't want to just warm up in time for the rains to come in on me. So I'm shelving skateboarding and working on a few other projects. You'll see more and more of that as I get older, and I refuse to be ashamed. Well, I'm going to sign off. I see the Tommy Story just... Let's see, Jason Wren said, we are riding a fucking kid's toy. We shouldn't take it so seriously. Boy, that's good advice. I'll tell you what I do take seriously is people picking on kids or people picking on fat people or the strong bullying the weak. When I get a sniff of that, you can see in my old post, go back to 2014, and I'm like, question authority, especially douchey retail authority. Any of you who live in an area that has a douchey retail authority that enforces fashion or enforces brand, you can see the kind of behaviors and know why I would write something like that. I don't take it back. I especially don't take it back. Some of the behavior coming out of the core of skateboarding is ridiculous. We should have been ridiculing it. We would have helped everything, but we just weren't down on that, you know? Let's see, we've got anyone in here in Cincinnati want to go flood sessions with geriatric rippers like right now? Dude, I got to tell you, I don't want to go to sessions. I don't like going to that one because it's been a historically unfriendly place, and I don't belong there, as far as I've understood. So, if I felt welcome at sessions, I would go there. But I definitely don't. I think it's called locals now. But all right, friends. Well, I'm going to sign off, finish, save it, share it to YouTube, put it up on YouTube, share it again on Facebook. Ask everyone, please, share my channel, get me up over 1,000 so I can just put a Facebook notification on. And what I'll do is I'll start a Facebook live feed, start the YouTube live feed, say everybody jump on YouTube, and we'll be cooking. And then we really get a good product out of that everyone can use and look through. David Waddell from Oz. I am stoked to see you. Do you pronounce it Waddell or Waddle? I never know how you guys down in Australia are gonna pronounce words. All right. I love that you guys use words like brekkie for breakfast and bikey for biker. That's good stuff. I love your frickin' English language down there in Australia. You guys rule. All right, friends. I'll be back at you soon. Probably again today. Definitely again tomorrow. All right. Peace.